Hello everyone, so here we are back with a final look on this fabulous little GPO compact telephone from 1977. Now you may have already seen this phone because I did do a first look video of it when I first got it, and you know, it wasn't terrible, but it was in definite need of some TLC. The phone was generally quite dirty, the plastic was rather dull, and it needed converting, so it's undergone the full Alex treatment, as I call it, and it's all ready to be connected to a modern phone line. What was quite interesting actually about this was that it still had the original line wires hanging out the back of the phone. Obviously whoever disconnected this probably years and years ago just cut the wires off from the line and just tossed it out, or whatever they did with it. Perhaps somebody was waiting for the post office to come and collect it and they never turned up. Who knows? But anyway, it's in my possession now, and I'm really lucky to have this particular example in the Balmoral blue colour, the Jubilee compact. It was also known as this version. But I also have the wall bracket for it, so that's quite a rarity in itself. Now, as you can see, it's in very nice condition. I think you'll agree that it did clean up quite well. Now, I'll give you a bit of a history on the compact phone. It started life in the early 1970s as a field trial or prototype model, because basically many subscribers had complained to the GPO that the regular 706 and 746 desk phones were just a little bit too long to sit comfortably on a desk or windowsill. So in response to the complaints, the GPO came up with this, the compact phone, and certain subscribers got to test it out. It wasn't widely available at the time, but it was the same looking phone as this, but it was in light grey, and I don't think the wall bracket was available for the field trial model, but it had the same model number as this, the SA4271, and I think it proved quite popular. And the first initial release of the compact came in 1977 when they made this version, which was to commemorate the Queen's Silver Jubilee in 1977. And basically, the Jubilee version of the compact is no different to any other version of the compact. The only difference being that the Jubilee phone came in this rather striking Balmoral blue colour, and it also had this somewhat ostentatious dial centre, and it has embossed on it the year 1977, and the royal crest, and it also says the Queen's Silver Jubilee. So I'll show you that in a bit more detail in just a second. But yes, that was the first initial release of the compact, the Jubilee phone, but they re-released it a few years later in 1979, and it was as a standard issue telephone of the 700 series, and the GPO called it the 776, and it was in the same format. The only difference being is the colour. The 776 was available in light grey, mid-brown and bright blue, and of course it didn't have this special commemorative dial centre. It just had a number card, just like any other dial GPO phone. The number card sits behind the handset on the Jubilee compact, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Now, the compact phone, because of its smaller diameter from front to back, which was what allowed it to sit on a windowsill or shelf. The disadvantage the GPO found was that they couldn't fit the bell inside. It was too small, because essentially this is like a 706 or 746 chopped in half. So we have the dial, the circuitry and the handset, so it's just basically the phone itself. So what they did was they issued these phones with a separate bell unit, and the bell unit would mount on a skirting board or low down on a wall, and it would be hardwired to the line, because of course this phone was released in the days before plug-in socket or modular phone jacks. So of course everything was hardwired then, and of course you didn't own the phone, you rented it. So, you know, you didn't own the telephone, the post office did. So that's why you couldn't disconnect it. But anyway, as I was saying, the bell unit would be hardwired low down to a skirting board or low down on a wall, and that would be fixed to the wall, and then you would have the phone, which would either sit on your windowsill, shelf or coffee table perhaps, and you had this long curly cord which connected the bell set to the telephone, and you'd be able to walk about with it. And I imagine that would have probably gave you more reach than a regular line cord on a 700 series phone, desk phone that is. So yeah, that was what they did with that. And of course you could have the compact wall mounted if you had to pay an extra charge for this wall bracket, but they would come and fit this wall bracket to the wall. They would then sit the bell set inside this wall bracket, so the advantage to that is it keeps the phone all together. But another advantage is that because the phone just sits on top of the wall bracket here, you can remove it. You can then have a wall phone with a long cord, because you can walk around with that now and have a long reach while you're talking on the phone, which was something that the 711 and 741 wall phones from the GPO didn't do at the time. So, you know, it was quite a nifty little phone, and as I said, I think it proved quite popular. So that was your cord that connected the bell set from the phone to the bell, and then you had your handset card on the other side. Now, as I said, originally these phones were hardwired, so it wouldn't have had a line cord, but because I've converted it, I've added a regular BT line cord with the modern 431A plug on the end, the modular plug. So now, as I said, this is ready to be connected to a modern phone line. So that's basically the history on the compact anyway, and the Jubilee version was made to commemorate the Queen's Silver Jubilee of 1977. But I'll just give you a little overview of the phone here. So I've removed it from the wall bracket there. So here we have the dial, and you can see the little commemorative dial centre there. You can just read that if you like. It's also interesting to note that the numbers on the dial backplate there are also blue. Not sure how well that picks up, but that's a nice touch. And here's a look at the phone from the side. It had a different type of handset than the regular 700 series phones. It was in two pieces, and you couldn't unscrew the end caps there. It was a lot chunkier, but it's nicer to hold actually. It's a lot more comfortable. So there's the receiver, and we have the transmitter there. I replaced that with the electronic type because it is a much clearer transmission with the electronic microphone. Originally this would have had a carbon transmitter. And the number card on the Jubilee version is underneath the handset there. It's styled much like the push-button 700 series phones. That's how the number card that they would have had. Of course, on any other version of the compact that isn't a Jubilee version would have the number card in the centre of the dial there. But of course, because this one has the little fancy dial centre, they had to put it there. But there's the switch hooks, and I've fixed them. They were broken. I managed to pick up a new old stock, I think, or it may have been used, I'm not sure. But someone kindly sold me a new plunger with the two springs that it needs either side. It was missing one before, and that's why it wasn't working properly. But I couldn't have just got a new spring for it because it had snapped off the lug that the spring has to attach to. You can see where the springs go, perhaps. Maybe just there and there. The hook on underneath. But anyway, that's what gives it the spring-loaded action. But that's all sorted now, so that's good. But they're rather a unique design, I think. You can just see how shiny it is. You can see the house across the street. And we have a little built-in carry handle there. And if I turn it upside down, you can see on the bottom there, it says a product of the Post Office Factory, Cumcairn, to commemorate the Silver Jubilee of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, 1952 to 1977. And there we can also see it says telephone 1 2/SA4271 Post Office FD1 batch sampled FWR 77/1. Sorry, I was just trying to read that through my viewfinder, so I had to keep looking at it. Anyway, there's the bottom of the phone, and we have the feet intact there. There's a little weight in the front there just to help weight the phone down, because of course without that, and there's no ringer inside it, the phone will be very light. So when you tried dialing, if used as a desk phone, it would spin around all over the place. But yes, it is in very good condition, and it's... Oops. Receiver's trying to fall off. It's in very nice condition, it's very shiny. And it's a lovely colour, probably the nicest colour of the compact phone, in my opinion. So here's the shelf here. So the phone sits on that when used as a wall phone, like that. And as I said, you can carry it around while you're on the phone with the long curly cord. So that's nice. And of course, as I said, the bell set sits just under here. And then of course this is fixed to the wall. So that's the wall bracket. So the dial has a nice smooth sound to it now. As you can hear. So there we are. So I think that's all there is I can show you on this compact Jubilee telephone. So without further ado, we'll get it plugged in and we'll give you a demonstration of it. Okay, so the phone is now connected to the line and I can begin my demonstrations because I think I've droned on enough. Okay, so we'll start with an outgoing call, so here goes. So there's the dial tone.
Welcome to Ask Dyson. If you're calling to check the status of an order, please be aware that each item is sent separately.
Okay, and we can call one other number.
Thank you for calling Buckingham Palace. For ticket bookings, press 1. For information about changing the guard, visiting the station...
So there we go. So finally I'll show an incoming call. And you can hear the lovely 700 series bells. So, without further ado, here goes. So there we go, nice long ring there. And I can't show you the bottom of the phone where the bell unit is located because of course it's attached to the wall, but I do show that in my first look video if you're interested in what that looks like. But anyway, I think that just about concludes my overview and brief history and demonstration of the rather forgotten about GPO compact telephone / Jubilee phone. So thanks very much for watching, hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care.